leader in supply chain solutions in 1990, where he conceptualized, designed, and developed the industry's first package distribution management software for the consumer supply chain. With 2011 revenues of about $320 million, Manhattan Associates is a publicly traded company listed on NASDAQ. While continuing to provide strategic and governance oversight as a director, Dr. Deepak Raghavan left full-time employment at Manhattan Associates in June 2002 to pursue his passion for astronomy. He earned his PhD in astronomy at Georgia State University in 2009 and serves as an adjunct faculty member of the department.
Born in New Delhi, India, Dr. Deepak received his bachelor's degree in engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology, New Delhi, and his MBA from Georgia State University. Dr. Deepak serves on the boards of Manhattan Associates, Georgia State University Foundation, Zoo Atlanta, and Woodward Academy. He has served as an advisory board member of the Atlanta CEO High Tech Council and as a director of the Entrepreneurship Organization, TIE, and the Giorgio Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. As president of Deepak Raghavan Family Foundation, he is actively involved in supporting the foundation's priorities of education, animal conservation, and children's health care. Sir, I take great pleasure in asking you to give the key address of the occasion.
Good evening. Director Dr. Sundarajan, Professor Dr. Kanabiran, Dr. Leela, Mr. Raja Shankaran, and Mr. Krish Narasimhan, other faculty, students, and family. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to be here this evening and speak on the auspicious occasion of the inauguration of the Center for Entrepreneurship. As Dr. Sundarajan mentioned, I think an institution like NIT does a fantastic job, historically has always done a fantastic job of honing the technical skills of students, and centers like this and focused efforts like this will enable the students to take that technical expertise and build on that with more of business skill and business acumen to create really good enterprises that will create value for long term in the future and be able to employ a number of other students rather than just being employees. You will be employers in the future. So it's a really wonderful step for this institution to take, and I would implore all the students here to take advantage of this center and make it a part of your experience here to learn from what resources are available, what is available with the incubation center in order to take your career forward. I had actually prepared a PowerPoint presentation. I didn't know what the format here was going to be, but after seeing the setup here, I didn't want to disturb the setup even though they were prepared to get my slides up. I'm fine. I just jotted down some notes. I'll just talk to you about my story about starting Manhattan Associates and how we grew it and some of the lessons we learned from that journey. So just a quick introduction of Manhattan Associates. I graduated from IIT Delhi in 1987, joined Infosys. When I joined Infosys, there were 60 employees. 60 employees, that's all they had at that time. So I know Narayana Murthy and others really well because they were a very small company at that time. Now I think they're what, over 120,000 or something? Is that right? Does someone know? Something like that. That's what he told me last time I talked to him. So it was a small company, and I wanted to join a small company specifically for multiple reasons. One is, I felt like in a small company, even though I wasn't starting a company, I wasn't being an entrepreneur right out of college, in a small company, I could see how everything worked. You know, I would not be a very small player in a big ocean where it is difficult to see the connection between my contributions and how the overall company does. In a small company, I could connect those dots more easily. The second reason was I wanted to be recognized for what I did. You know, I was fairly confident that I was going to do a good job, and I wanted to be recognized for that, and that's more conducive in a small company as compared to a big organization. So I joined Infosys and spent 3.5 years there. That entire time I was assigned to a project at Jockey International. Jockey International is a company in the US based in Kenosha, Wisconsin. and they manufacture underwear. And they were going through a business transformation process where they were implementing computer systems and software to enable different areas of their business to talk to each other more efficiently. So if you have a business and you have, let's say, your payroll system, you have your HR system, you have your sales system, you have your raw materials and purchasing system. So you got all these different departments that are doing different businesses in the company, right? And each one of those businesses have their own databases, have their own software, and it's very inefficient because if a new employee joins Jockey as a salesperson, they have to go through the HR system and create information for that person. They have to go to the sales system and create an information for that person. And they have to create the same information in lots of different places. If they start making a new product, they have to not only go to the bill of materials and create information on that product, they got to go to the pricing catalog, they got to go to the accounting department, accounts receivables. And so a lot of efficiency was lost by creating pockets of databases that were not connected. And so the project we worked with through Infosys at Jockey was to implement what's called today, in those days it wasn't even called that, what's called today an enterprise resource planning or ERP system. SAP is the biggest one of that these days, and Oracle also has a big ERP system. But before the term ERP existed, that's the work we did at Jockey through Infosys. 3.5 years into that, I decided to join some of my friends and start our own company. And we said, we want to take this to the next level. So at Jockey, what we saw was the implementation of an ERP system bridged various islands of automation. So you had databases and information islands for different departments of the company, and the ERP system implements a common platform, common database, and lets all these different applications tie into the same database so you don't have redundancy. It's a lot more efficient, you get a lot more savings. Now, we also saw in the world what was going on at that time is companies had done a lot of this ERP implementation, but something else was happening. The whole world was moving from a notion of vertical integration, which Jockey did and a lot of other companies did, where in order to grow, in order to become more efficient, companies would start buying their suppliers, companies would start buying their customers, and that was called vertical integration, right? So they would go all the way from point of raw materials to ultimate sales. Now, the way that wave was done, and the new wave was specialization. So companies said, we cannot be good at everything, so let us do what we do best, specialize in what we do, and outsource the other aspects of our business. Now, what we saw was that in a world of specialization, you again will have lots of automation islands because every company will have its own systems and databases, and we needed something to tie these islands of automation across enterprises. It's a whole dimension above ERP systems, and it's a lot more complex in some ways because not only are you dealing with different departments in the same company, you're also dealing with different enterprises. But that is the market we decided to tackle, and we said that what we want to play in is enable our customers to virtually integrate with their suppliers, their customers, and their business partners. Okay? So we provided software applications that let them tie in and automate the connections between their businesses and their databases to these companies that they did business with. We started with one module called Warehouse Management Systems for the first 5 or 10 years. That's what we were focused on. And over time, we grew that into a full-fledged supply chain optimization and planning suite of products, which today is called Scope. So by providing these, we enabled our customers to do two things at the same time, which sometimes are considered contradictory. So we enable them basically to become more efficient and save costs while increasing sales and customer satisfaction. I don't know if any of you have read some of the books by Jeff Collins, who wrote Built to Last, Good to Great, and a number of other books. He does a fantastic job in these books of explaining different concepts that don't work well or common myths And one of the myths is that you've got to have either high inventory levels or high order fulfillment rate. Either low inventory levels or high order fulfillment rate. You cannot have both. You can have either high efficiency in your business, which would relate in not good customer satisfaction. If you want good customer satisfaction, you've got to sacrifice a little bit on your efficiencies. And one of the things he said is companies that do very well over the long run find a way to do both. And we enabled our customers to find a way to do both, save their costs while improving customer satisfaction and improving sales. So the result of this was we started our company in 1990 with 4 people, actually 5 people. We grew it slowly. We did not grow it with any infusion of outside capital. We did not have in those days even access to things like SETI, what you're creating here. So we created a company. We talked to Jockey, which is a company that I had worked with through Infosys. We presented our ideas to them, and they said they were receptive to it. So we essentially built a prototype of our ideas on a home computer that simulated an IBM mid-range computer, which is what the intended platform was. We built that, took it to Jockey and said, is this something you would like? And they said, yes, this is exactly what we need, because the world around them was changing. They were being required to collaborate more with their suppliers and with their customers, and they were looking for solutions, and our ideas went along the right direction, but it was a prototype. It was not a fully baked product. We could only take it so far in PCs that emulated mid-range computers. So they said, we like it, but we need it finished. We said, we need your machines to finish it. So we actually moved in to Jockey, took over their office space a little. They gave us a little bit of office space. They gave us a computer. All the things you're talking about SETI doing, we got from our first customer. Now, we were very fortunate to create that relationship and get that, but you guys have access to that right off the bat while you're still students. So you are way ahead of where we were at that time. So please do make use of it. So we moved into their offices and finished up the product, implemented it, and then grew it slowly by customer, project by project. And today, today we are about 2,100 associates all over the world. We have about 800 or so in Bangalore out of that 2,100, another 800 or so in Atlanta, where we have our global headquarters, and the rest are spread pretty much every continent in the world is covered. We have customers in every continent in the world. Our revenues this year are projected to be well over 350 million. Financial analysts at Wall Street are projecting us to have the highest revenue this year than we've ever had in the past. We have been profitable every year since our